everyone. Today, we're going to tackle a complicated topic, voted on by all my patrons over on Patreon. When oppression narratives go wrong. Now, I'll be honest, my first few drafts of this project were massive. There are a lot of ways that oppression metaphors in fiction can fail disastrously. Not being clear which group in your metaphor is meant to be the oppressed stand-in, not being clear if the group in question is actually oppressed and how that oppression manifests, or just perpetrating some pretty awful myths about oppression in general, and tackling all of that in one video was not going to happen. So, I decided, eventually, to make this video into a case study of one of the most famous oppression metaphors in fiction. The X-Men. X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men. Now, X-Men has always been a metaphor for oppression. Most commonly, in the early comics, mutants and their fight for acceptance was a metaphor for the civil rights movement. Often, Professor X and Magneto were designed to be stand-ins for Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, though with varying degrees of nuance and effectiveness depending on your writer. More recent X-Men media, especially this movie, especially this scene.
So, when did you first know you were
a mutant?
Leans very heavily into the mutants as a metaphor for the LGBT community and homophobia, which, if I can say, kinda makes more sense. Most mutants have non-mutant parents, most LGBT people have cis-straight parents, while most black people do not have white parents. So in that aspect, makes more sense. The emphasis on staying hidden versus being mutant and proud.
Mutant and proud.
Plot points about finding a cure.
I hear you can change people, Doctor. Change them so they won't be mutants anymore. You make me like other people, and you can name your own price.
Rhetoric about mutants being unnatural all fit well with the metaphor about homophobia. And overall, this is a fairly effective oppression metaphor. It's clear on who is oppressed, that the oppression is real, and how that oppression looks. So that's all good. There's just one problem. Okay, so in real life, it's not uncommon for bigots to use the narrative of the super dangerous minority to justify oppression. Stereotypes that push the narrative that black men are super predators and Mexicans are rapists and that all members of a religion are predisposed to being terrorists and gay men intentionally spread AIDS to kill people are horrific and have been really used by real bigots in real life to justify really, really awful things. And if someone in real life suggested that, we need to cure homosexuality because it makes people a danger to themselves and others, or we need a database of all black men so we can monitor them to make sure they aren't hurting people, that would be, bad. Really bad. Like, the worst kind of bad. But see, here's the thing. If I lived in Marvel world, mutants can shoot laser beams out of their eyes, or have swords coming out of their hands, and make hurricanes with their mind, and crush skyscrapers with their metal bending. Magneto killed thousands of people here in a matter of minutes. Thousands of people are dead. That's never really talked about again in this movie. So yeah, the idea that we should try to cure the kid who accidentally shoots lasers out of his face feels a lot more reasonable than the real life equivalent. The idea that maybe we should keep tabs on Magneto are pretty justified. He killed thousands of people here in minutes. Could do it again. Probably will. Because mutants are inherently more dangerous than non-mutants, they are a super dangerous minority. Their powers make that an irrefutable truth, and a lot of them can barely control those powers half the time. No matter how nice they are as individual people, they can do harm on a scale and at a rate that non-mutants physically can't. Non-mutants aren't going to cause a tornado if they're having a bad day, but Storm could, even if it's an accident. Which kind of undercuts the whole metaphor, because one of the most awful, horrible stereotypes about minorities being inherently dangerous people is true in this universe, and it justifies a lot of the oppression within this metaphor. Trask is kind of reasonable given the threat that these mutants can pose, which isn't great. It's not great to justify the oppression in your oppression metaphor. Now, all of this isn't to say that X-Men is bad. I love X-Men. It's great. X-Men! If anything, the theme of this video is that oppression metaphors that use magic powers as the oppressed class will never be flawless. Minorities in real life don't have magic superpowers, and that difference in power makes any allegory to real-life oppression shaky at best. Minorities aren't oppressed in real life because they're dangerous. They're oppressed in real life because it has been and remains socially and economically beneficial to majorities to oppress them. And X-Men misses that nuance, as do a lot of oppression metaphors. So yeah. But man, that new Dark Phoenix movie looks really good, right? We're all gonna go see that, right? Cool. Alright, y'all know the drill. If you like this video, do all the YouTube stuff. A big thanks to my patrons, especially Garrett Robinson, Vextifer, Heba Assad, Alex Wilson, Sebastian Warren, and Adrian Alvarez. Y'all are truly awesome. And if you, dear listener, liked listening to this queer millennial feminist ramble for a few minutes and want to do it again, you know where to find me. I've been putting out about one video a month lately, so check back here in a few weeks. Also, if you check out the Patreon, you can vote for the next video topic. Thank you! X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men,